today we are going to see some TikToks of current professional athletes or aspiring professional athletes, which is what this content's about. And I'm gonna give my common take. Now, I'm doing this because I played 10 years professionally in over 20 plus countries. So I have a lot of experience and understanding of this. So I'm going to use this as a learning opportunity to tell what's good on TikTok and what's not good on TikTok. So this is going to be our first video. And this guy is talking about how much money he's going to make. So I'm going to let him see what he needs to say, and then I'm going to speak on it.
How much money do you make as an overseas basketball player? Question that everybody wants to know. So here's the truth and only the truth. So let's start with what you don't have to pay for. You're gonna have your own apartment, your own place, so you're not gonna have to pay for housing or anything like that. Just make sure to turn your TV off and turn the lights off when you're not at the house. You're also gonna have your own car, so you don't gotta worry about paying for transportation. So those are two main expenses you won't have to pay for. So now let's get into what you really wanna know. How much money can I expect to make my first year overseas? So unless you played in the NBA or you was borderline about to make the NBA, do not go overseas expecting to think you gonna make 100 bands. I guess people found it embarrassing to tell how much they really made to their friends when they came back home, but I'm not embarrassed to tell you the truth. I had a solid college career, but I'm 5'7", so it was time for me to prove myself once again. My first year, I was making $1,100 a month. It was one of those times where I had to really ask myself, is this something that I want to continue to do? I really had to bet on myself, and that's exactly what I did. I had a great first year, so going into my second year, I multiplied that times 5. So once you decide to come overseas, you really have to earn your way up, and you also have to really love the game because it's a long season. So if you're only in it for the money, I don't think you'll survive, but if you're in it for the love of the game and the experience of getting a chance to live in a new country, do it.
Wow, now there's a lot I can say about that, but yes, for the most part, if you are not coming out as a Division I athlete as with accolades as well, so you need to be able to have accolades to show, you cannot expect to make anything more, if you're lucky, $3,000. That to me is the max, and that's a great contract if you can get your hands on apartment paid, car paid, and $3,000 net. If you can get that, then you're doing better than almost everyone who is starting out, unless you are, like he said, an NBA player. I played for the 76ers Summer League. I was up almost NBA player. I played in the NBA for a bit, but not long enough to solidify myself. But I was a Division I athlete. I was a Hall of Famer. I have 2 championships. So that helped me get a job in Poland, which was going to pay me $9K a month. Now, that's essentially was the first contract, though. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. And there's a whole story about that and how I made that work. But for the most part, if you're coming overseas, yes, you cannot expect to make really more than $2,000, because to them, you need to prove who you are and what they can do. And if you do well, like he just said, you can upgrade. They'll give you more, which is what he said. I think he said he was making around $4,500. Which is pretty solid. So that is something that is definitely true. You cannot expect to be making much, and if you do not love the game, it will not work, and that's definitely the truth. You really have to have a real mindset to survive, because you don't have family and you are there to do a job. You are, as I say in my channel, you are a basketball contractor. They are hiring you for your basketball skills. Now, how can you build longevity? How can you build a situation where you have job security? You can either be much better in basketball or build a brand that you can monetize. And that is essentially what this entire business I'm creating is about. So we're going to move on to the next one and see what this guy has to say.
Overseas is hit or miss, and if you're willing to like grind it out, like you might enjoy it, but it's not for everybody. And then if you end up in a certain situation that difficult living condition, I don't really like the food, like those do it. If you don't see that vision, and then if you understand like it's more to basketball than just playing it, and you just could put themselves in a better situation in due time. But
That was a quick one, but yes, I actually fully agree with that. Basketball is more. It's more than just basketball. When you're there, it's a business. You have to understand that you are a walking brand. As I said, a contractor. As Americans, they look at us as you are a better basketball player than any other basketball player in our country in general, because that is going down, unfortunately, as time moves on. But that is what they're hiring you for. They're hiring you to score 30. They're hiring you to be the best and get them to victory, because that means more sponsors and more money for them and for the people who own the team. So yes, you really need to understand, if you want to be successful overseas, you must have a well-rounded understanding of not only the business, but what value you actually bring to these teams. And if you don't have any value outside of basketball, then if you lose basketball games, this is where the horror stories come from, where they're trying to get rid of you and they're trying to flake, because ultimately you don't provide any other value to them. So as long as you understand that, and you know when you're over there, you need to work and you need to work hard. Yes, you're going to be alone. Yes, you're going to have to deal with different food and different things. They're going to try to accommodate, I'm sure, but you're not always going to get the exact thing that you're looking for. And that, to me, is the cost of doing business. So as long as you're willing to pay that, then overseas can be a future for you. So we're going to look at the next one. This next video here, and this guy talks about how he got cut. So now I'm going to react to this and show essentially what happens about it.
I mean, to keep it a buck with you, Brody, I was out of shape. And I wasn't playing well in practice. So, you know, anywhere overseas you go, you have to be 10 times better than everybody else on your team. But in the Middle East, you got to be 100 times better than everybody else on your team. So when I'm coming in practice, blending in with the other players, playing good some days, playing bad some days, coach like, nah, we ain't need that. We need somebody else. First thing he told me when I got in practice, he's like, hey, we need you to average 30 if we have a chance of even winning one game this season, right? So I already knew I was coming into a bad situation. I thought I was going to play my way into shape because I came in on a FIBA break, so we had 3 weeks to practice before the first game. He didn't even let me get a first game out. He like, as soon as he seen me, like, nah, this ain't what we want. So he got me in there and got me out. Pause. But you know, this is just a message to young guys and rookies and stuff. They don't care about your injuries. They don't care about what you have going on. When you come there, you better be ready to hoop and perform, or they get you in and out of there. This is my first time getting cut, and this is my 6 years overseas. And I know it happens to a lot of guys, lower level guys, high level guys. Getting cut is part of the nature of this game, because it's not a secure job at all, as we all know. So I'm not too mad about it, but yeah, man, just make sure you're in shape once your name gets called.
Yeah, that shouldn't even be a question. I feel bad for this guy, especially for the fact that he's been overseas for 6 years. To me, the expectation should be you should be in shape. Like when I came home, when I came overseas, I took 1 week off, and then I was training 3 days from March, April to September. And I'm working out literally 4 days a week, minimum 2 times a day. And some days I will have 3. So, and that's just lifting and agility. Basketball was essentially 5 to 6 days a week. And that depends on the week, because that was my load management. You have to be in shape. You cannot, when you're overseas and you are getting on these teams, their expectations of you is, yes, 100 times higher. The thing I can say about this is most of my career, successful as that actually, was at the Middle East. And yes, to them, it's all about making the money right now. And if you aren't coming in really doing what you need to do, then yes, they're sending you home immediately before the season starts so they can find someone else. Once again, you are a basketball contractor. Your entire value to this organization is how well you can play basketball. And if you're not in the physical shape to perform the way you need to, you are getting fired. So, like he talks about how to the young guys, is for him as well. Like, you really should be in shape before you even touch the floor. It should be a lifestyle. If you really want this to work for you, basketball must become a lifestyle. It doesn't have to consume your entire life, but in your life, working out, lifting should be darn near almost every day. And even doing all of that, it still doesn't guarantee success, because that's essentially what I did. And I couldn't crack the NBA, even though that's not particularly because of me not being in shape in my effort, but it more has something to do with the politics of the NBA, as well as me burning a few bridges in my earlier years, which really harmed everything. And unfortunately, that's just how the business works. And that's something you must be aware of. So yes, if you're overseas, you must be in shape showing up. You must show that, hey, I am worth the 8 times you're paying me compared to other athletes. You have to remember, some of these teams only have maybe $15,000, $20,000 in the budget a month. And if they're paying all their other guys $10,000, $12,000, but then all of a sudden they're paying you 8, 9, that's 40% of their budget. They expect 40% of the performance. And that's something that unfortunately this guy here just didn't understand. So we're going to try this next one to see what this is about.
If you want to play overseas, you need to have these 3 things before you even think about getting the 4th thing. So in order to play overseas, the first thing you need is toughness. And I'm not talking just physical toughness. Yes, you need this, because the European style of play is very, very physical. As you can tell, this is a broken cheek. But mental toughness, because you will be going through things and experiences that a lot of people back in the States won't believe, especially if you're starting out at a lower level, which almost everyone does the early years of their career. So number 1 is that toughness to persevere. Number 2, you have to have a growth mindset. What I mean by this is you're gonna be in a new everything, new experience, new culture, new play style, new coaching style, just about everything you can think of. You can either fight it, or you can allow it to elevate you, allow it to push you to a bigger player and a bigger person. You have to be willing to grow and wanting to grow, hungry to grow from all the experiences, new experiences you have overseas. And number 3, you just need to straight up have game. You have to have a high level skill. You have to genuinely be a really good basketball player. I don't mean you have to be the one that scores 20 plus a game, but you have to have a skill that produces at the highest level. Maybe you're a great rebounder. Maybe you're a 40% 3-point shooter. Maybe you're a lockdown defender. Whatever you do, you have to be very good at it. And that's what I call game. And now that you have those 3 things, and I think a lot of hoopers that message me or talk about playing pro basketball, they don't have all 3 of these things. One of the boxes isn't checked, and that's probably why they're at home without the 4th thing I'm gonna say. Number 4, you need an opportunity. And this is a part that's a bit out of your control, because you need good representation, and good representation usually comes from an agent or someone seeing something in you. And yes, you control what you are and what you have to bring to the table. Someone else has to see the winner in you. And that's what my agent, he said, agents see the winners in their clients. Side point, you need an opportunity. You have this opportunity, you need to run with it. There's a million players that want your job. I mean, opportunities are few and far between, and you may only get one, so you better make the most out of it. But with that being said, you need 4 things to start an overseas pro basketball career. It's toughness, a growth mindset, straight up game, and an opportunity. And once you have those, I mean, it's up.
This right here, good looking, man. If you're ever watching this, good luck. But yes, you must be tough, because these clubs are organizations looking to make money off you. So it's not about the fun anymore. Can you have fun? Yes, but you must be winning to have fun. You're not allowed to lose the understanding of why they're hiring. Your growth mindset is very important as well, because especially for Americans, because Americans believe when I go overseas, I don't have to listen to the coach. I don't have to listen to the play style. I don't need to do any understanding. I just need to score. And that won't help you. Kobe Bryant would learn from each of his opponents. You must be humble enough to understand that you and your game can still improve despite the fact you're dropping 30. You have to be willing to adapt, because these European players do not play games. I played Europe 10 years. I played 10 seasons in different teams from Middle East to Asia to Europe to America. These European players are coming for American jobs. When I was in Saudi Arabia, normally, on average, America was always the number one player they're going for. But when I was over there, they were picking up Serbians. One of the top teams had a Serbian on his team for the 2 import limit. For one of those import players, they got a Serbian. So Americans, even back in 2016 when I was playing, were already losing luster. Now it's even worse, because now the European players are dominating the NBA because we've got lulled to sleep. We don't take things seriously, and we don't focus on the fundamentals of the game. So yes, a growth mindset is so important, because you will get embarrassed by some of these teams, and you'll have some leeway. As my coach used to say, you can be a pretty girl or an ugly girl. A pretty girl gets more chances. If you do well enough, you might get another chance. But for the most part, as this guy just mentioned, most people who even get an opportunity are immediately the ugly girl. And as we all know, when it comes to ugly girls, they got to put in more work to get our attention. And that's essentially what he said. Game, yes, that's just self-explanatory. They are hiring you for your basketball skills. You have to have basketball skills. For me, I was a defensive powerhouse. No one was scoring on me. I was averaging 5 blocks a game overseas. Guys couldn't score. I was, of course, rebounds. I also had solid offensive game, but my calling card was defense. I could shut anyone down on the floor. And that was my job when I was overseas. So can they find another 7-footer who had defense like a 3? No, they couldn't, which is why I got paid the $10K a month, the $9K a month of times I was. Because I could elicit that type of value, as well as this guy mentioned the agent, because the agent is extremely important. They are there to represent you, so you need something that he can market with. If you're 5'7" and an average ball player, how is he going to sell you to these other clubs who are looking for import players? You won't be able to, and that's unfortunately what most people find themselves in. Which is why the one thing I'll add when it comes to this is that it definitely does not substitute for actually having game, but to help solidify your position is having a brand that's marketable, especially for these lower level teams like he's mentioning. Because if you have a big enough brand, then they might keep you on, because your brand will draw audiences to them, which sells advertising revenue, which makes them money. You have to think the business. And that's the one thing that most people don't take into consideration when it comes to the pro season. At the end of the day, basketball has to be the number one thing, but you also need to understand the power of branding and who you are and your name. When they look you up, what do they find? Do they find you acting stupid in college, or do they find your workouts? Do they find you creating content, good content of you working out and doing stuff and showing what you can do? That's actually what happened to me and how I got my Taiwan job, because one of the major videos I had when I was going through the NBA, every time I was in practice, he would just show me on his phone, we need this, because he couldn't speak English. So that's an example. So great guy. I'm glad. Hopefully he keeps doing these things for his audience. And now I'm going to up and go to the next one.
James, how are you? Hey, Coach Boris, nice to meet you, my guy.
Appreciate you
Very
for
nice
having
to
me.
meet you. Welcome to the Minimum Wagers Basketball Club. Come on, let me show you the arena. Okay, James, this is our arena. This is where we play all of our home games.
Oh, damn. I thought this was like a practice gym or something.
Oh, no, James. This is the biggest basketball arena in the country. Oh, and James, here is your official team jersey and your shorts. Okay, thanks. It has like no numbers on it or like last name or like logos or anything. Oh, James, no problemo. Here is a tape. Put it on the back of your jersey. You're number 69. Oh, okay. And James, here is the bathroom. So your shower, only cold water. And unfortunately, a toilet, no work. So you'd have to go poopy poop outside. So I can just come here and just shoot around anytime, yeah? Oh, no, James. These here, games only. We practice outdoor court. Rent too expensive. What? Okay, James, let me go show you your car. Oh yeah, now we talking. Oh yeah. Yo, this me right here? No, James, it's the wrong car. Hey, whose car is this? It's a big boss's car, the club owner. And what does Big Boss do for a living? Oh, he's in the mafia. Okay, James, here is your car, just like we promised. Bro, what the? It got a flat tire. It's not too bad. And then last thing, James, team boss. This is what we take to road games. Ain't no way, boy. James, you stupid What are you doing, James? Are you an idiot, James? No, I'm not an idiot, no. Okay, do as I say. If not, I will eat. Yo, Coach Boris, I just wanted to ask, when are you guys gonna pay me? Because you guys never paid me and you owe me for the last 5 months. James, don't worry about it, okay? We will pay you, promise. All right, okay. Hey, Coach Boris.
James, this is Coach Boris. James, no more team. Team, no exist. Please leave. Do not ask for money.
Oh, this is good. This is a little parody, a little over the top, but very, very true. When it comes to when you're going for low marketing, well, one, this is your agent's job. He should be vetting these clubs that he's getting to. So if that is the case, then he failed at his job in this situation. He should never put his player in a situation like this. However, if this is the only opportunity you can make, that's when it's very important to not only get games in, but to create a brand for yourself, recording your own games, recording practices, doing stuff like that. And if you don't have, I get you if you don't have the money, but it's really important to get the content for your agent, even if situations like this happen and then the team fails. Well, you have game tape, you have practice tape, you have stuff your agent can use to market you, which is so important. The other thing I would like to say about this is the money. So many players do not read their contracts. You must read the contract. In overseas basketball, that FIBA essentially oversees all of the international basketball. So the FIBA stands for the Federal International Basketball Association. It's what runs the Olympics. FIBA, in most cases, when it comes to a player in the team, are arbiters. They're arbitration. They're just a third party who's looking to get stuff done. So if there is a lawsuit, you have to pay out of pocket for it. So you must understand it. This is why it's so important to have your finances in check before you go overseas. Now, I'm not saying you can't make your money, of course, but you can't be spending your money lavishly, because if this situation does happen, you need the money to fight them in court if you want anything at all. Now, in this situation, the team went bankrupt. So at that point, you probably lost your money. But in other cases, if they try stuff like this, you must have a good, thorough understanding of your contract and know where the limits are. Like when I was playing in Tunisia, the limit was 15 days. Yeah, 15 days after you are supposed to be paid, they have to pay you. So it's 45 days essentially. So if I get paid in 1 month, they get 1 month later plus 15 days. And once that happens, because normally what happens, you give them time for payroll, because a lot of these guys are essentially, most of these businesses are running paycheck to paycheck. And that's another funny thing he did, because the owner had a nice car. Yes, to the owner, this is an investment. That's all this is to them. So that's why most owners don't understand basketball that much, because that's not what they're in it for. They're in it because if a good basketball team brings in advertisers, and more advertisers is more money and more return on investment for them. That's all they care about. Now, but for the most part, you really need to have a thorough understanding of your contract. Because once they go, in my situation, once they went past that 45th day, well, really what happened is at 43, they were paying me right before the deadline, because then I can just go to the arbitration, because I had the 3,000, about 1,500 for the arbiter to look at it, and I think like 2,000 for the case. And I had the money, so I'm like, I can take y'all to court right now and win, and I know I'll win, and then you'll be sanctioned until you pay me. This is how law works. But in that situation, they can't pay me, so I had to keep putting it off. And unfortunately, that was when COVID hit. When COVID hit, I wouldn't have won the lawsuit, just because to them it's an act of God. So they could use that as an excuse to say, well, I can't pay because COVID hit and everyone was shutting down. So that's why, even though I lost money in in Tunisia, I was still that's still the situation at hand. I still had money where it didn't particularly bother me, even though they still owe me like $6,000. But I ain't gonna see it. It is what it is. But that is a great example of what this guy did when it comes to American overseas. Because yes, everything ain't EuroLeague. There are some really hard trenches that some people are going to find themselves in. And it's your job to make the best of that opportunity in all ways possible. All right, this is the last video that I'm going to talk about in this, and then where it goes.
About to put y'all on game with this agency shit. So if you're not a high major Division I player or a D2 player who averaged 25, 30 points, bro, it's kind of hard for you to get in the overseas market. I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's hard to get in like a respectable league overseas. With agents, they're trying to sign those Division I high major athletes. There's hundreds to thousands of players that aren't signed right now. So what these agents will do, they will put them in lower leagues to where they're making like $800 to $1,000. They add all that up, they making a profit every month off y'all, because they making 10% of your contract. Y'all got to be careful with these agents, because a lot of them don't even have FIBA license. If y'all still want to get in the market, go on Eurobasket and search what country you want to play in, and a list of agents will pop up. You just reach out to the agent, send your film, and hopefully they like you. But one thing I will never do is go to a basketball camp to be seen by an agent. At that point, they're scamming you. They're making you pay $200 to $400 just to come to a camp to send film to an agent, when all that camp is doing is taking your money. One of my best friends was supposed to go play in the Eurobasket camp out there in Vegas during Summer League, and they canceled the whole basketball camp, and they said no refunds. So at the end of the day, bro, know who you're dealing with, bro. You don't want to sign with somebody who's fugazi and who's trying to get over on you or put you in lower leagues to where they're basically benefiting off what you do. Like in my previous video, I was telling y'all about a buddy that didn't have a FIBA license. So at the end of the day, bro, whatever contract I signed with him, bro, I didn't have to keep because he didn't have a FIBA license, and I can report that to FIBA. I'm not saying it's not possible to get in one of those better leagues, but for someone who didn't really have a big college career, I should say, you're gonna have to build a resume. Everybody's path is different. So if y'all really love this hoop shit, bro, just know that it might take a couple years, you know, but bro, just keep going, bro. Don't let a motherfucker tell you that you can't do that shit, bro. That shit is very doable, bro. It might take 2 to 5 years, bro, but at the end of the day, bro, you doing something you love, you getting paid to play basketball.
Now, there's a lot I can say to that, but yes, for the most part, and most FIBA agents is 10%. That's what the team pays the agent for the referral fee, essentially what it is, because all agents are middlemen. They have the connections and network with the teams and the clubs, and their job, what it's supposed to be, is to fit you in the right position. But if you don't really have any elite basketball skills, it's hard to sell you that way. Actually, it's easier for me because I'm 7 foot, so that helped me out. But unfortunately, not a lot of people are built like I am. In this situation, yes, they are going to, anytime you sign a contract, they get a quick 10%. And if they get like 20, 30, 40 players doing that, yeah, they can make some money. The difference is that, yes, these lower leagues are hard, but like I said, your job in those situations, and these are very minute situations, is where your brand is so important. This is why in Beyond the Court, I talk about you having your own YouTube channel, your own content, like this, what this guy's doing now. Find something to build a marketing base where people want to watch you, that you're interesting. It develops all types of skills that I think are important for business, as well as extending your basketball career, because this is the story I normally tell people. If you have 100,000 YouTube subscribers and you can get 5 or 10% of them, we'll say 5%, which is 5,000 people who can buy your jersey or follow the team you play for and stuff like that. Now you are more valuable than just your basketball skill. Now, that doesn't change that you still need the work ethic. You still need to work 2 times a day. You still got to put on your grind. But now, since they're able to make money off your marketing ability, they will give you way more chances, and it will also expand your reach, because now those agents are going to be finding you on your YouTube channel or on your whatever content you're using, TikTok, whatever it may be. I would really recommend YouTube rather than something like TikTok, maybe Instagram, but you really want to have a respectable, what I call digital storefront. Everyone has their own digital storefront. What do people see when they Google your name? It needs to be great stuff. That's what I'm building right now. When people search up my name, I want Beyond the Court to come up. I want my channel to come up. I want my story to come up, my website to come up. That's what I want. And then I'm getting first access to all these people, which gives me value, marketing, brand value, influence some value. And to these smaller teams, that is a godsend for them. A great example of this is the Ball brothers. When he went to Switzerland, was it Switzerland or Ukraine? I can't remember which country he went to, but when I think it was Mello, when he went overseas, they sold out all their season tickets when he got signed. Like, that's the situation you need. It doesn't matter how bad you play. They already bought the tickets. Now, he could play. That's the difference. That's what really helps him. But you having that growth is the important thing. Now, I'm not saying you need to sacrifice your basketball to do that, but if you do have it, it's going to give you a leg up of, as he just mentioned, the 100,000 other players who aren't doing this. You need to build a brand that's marketable so these teams can throw you on a billboard and then they get ad revenue. And that's going to make you so much more valuable on and off the court, because now you're their moneymaker, especially for the smaller teams. And for the bigger teams, you're going to grow your audience by going to all these different countries. That's essentially what I did on my social media, though unfortunately when I was playing, social media was nowhere near as big as it is now. But on my Facebook, my old Facebook, I have all these Tunisian followers, I have all these French followers, I have all these Saudi Arabian followers, these Dubai followers. I have followers from all over the world because of that small social media presence I had. Unfortunately, I didn't think about doing this, but that's what Beyond the Court represents, is I'm trying to help these athletes here get themselves over that hump. And the best way to do that is not only keep your work ethic, but expand your reach by building a brand that's marketable to these teams, as well as these agents are also going to sell you the same way. Hey, this guy got 50,000 subscribers. I'm sure about 500,000 of those will follow your team if you're playing for them. And then that's where you can build a business. Like, I can't really get into it in this video. It goes way deeper than that, but that is something that people really do need to understand. Agents are only there to be a middleman. You can technically become your own agent and represent yourself by having a brand where they're reaching out to you rather than the other way around. I still have teams reaching out to me even to this day. Now, it's gone down considerably because I've essentially announced my retirement, so I don't get as many. But like 2-3 years ago, I was still getting offers to play overseas. It just wasn't worth it enough for me to go. So that's essentially it. Hopefully you learn quite a bit on the basketball side. And hey, we'll see you whenever I see you.